Oh, I'm loving it. I, I didn't know how amazing Houston was. Just the culture, the food, and just being in its organization.
What made you choose
First of all, Miko, CU, and then I like Nick, general manager, and of course it's the South, and I got to play safety, so I get to compete for safety, starting spot. So that's the main reason why I came.
What do you think about, you were there with Miko the whole time. How did you see him develop as a coach? What was he like when he became the coordinator? Now what do you expect of him as a head coach?
Well, he was kind of stiff a little bit when at linebacker coach. No, I was just playing. He had a great sense of humor. For him to be a coach, he was coachable. You know, you can criticize him and he'll take it and he'll learn from it. You know, I just watch him and Coach Kyle relationship in San Fran, and when he got the defensive coordinator job, he stepped right in the shoes, and then there was some big shoes to fill because Saleh was a pretty good defensive coordinator too, but he stepped right in and we didn't lose a beat, and I think we actually got better. And now it's his first time being a head coach, and I feel like he's going to do an amazing job.
Have you gotten a chance to watch any of Jalen Petrie's play from last season? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, I've been breaking down the film now. We've been talking about it, talking a lot about it. One thing I've seen that he has great ball skills, and then he can really move. Like he has some great feet. And he told me a little bit about his background story, how he played nickel in college, and that's similar to what I did. And I'm excited because it can be interchangeable, where I don't always have to cover. I don't always have to do. He don't always have to blitz, or he don't always have to be in the post. We can switch it up, and that's great for defense because we can disguise better.
You mentioned safety and playing.
In the back.
You mentioned safety, playing safety again. What was the conversation with Nico about that? Was that a selling point here as opposed to other places?
Not necessarily. Well, it was some other coaches and teams that wanted me to play safety too, but I feel like I had a better relationship with Miko and had a better relationship with Corey Undy. And yes, he did tell me like, hey, we chatted about it a little bit. We didn't do too much talking about it when we was in San Fran, but he told me like, I'd like for you to play for me, and that's kind of where we cut that conversation off at.
Talked a lot about the Nico lines. What can you share about his ability to? It seemed like there was a couple of players who were able to take that next step because of him.
You talking about like the linebackers, or because when he was a linebacker coach or defense coordinator, or just in general? Well, to be honest, he'll call you out. I feel like no matter the age, no matter how good a guy is, all pro, Pro Bowl, you got to be able to take criticism. You got to be able to be coachable. And that's one guy who played this game and played it for a long time. And, he knows what you've been through. So, and that's one guy a lot of guys look up to. A lot of guys want to play 10 years in this league. A lot of guys want to be a starting player on defense, offense, or special team for that long in this league. So, and I think, that's what he's a role model to a lot of guys. So that's why it's easy to, listen to Miko. And that's why it's easy for him to push us too.
Jimmie, what did you think when you traded up to get Will Anderson?
Oh, I was happy. D-line, what type of defense we're running. It's running through the front. So the more guys you got up there that can get at the quarterback and make it way easier for the DBs, make it way easier for the linebackers.
You know how hard this is to play in this league under any circumstances. I was wondering if you had perspective on John Mechie, who obviously underwent leukemia treatments last year and is doing everything he can to get out onto the field with you guys. What do you think about that kind of effort, and is he kind of an inspirational figure to guys in the locker room?
Yeah, I think so. Like what he went through, I never been through it, and that's my first time ever hearing somebody actually, going through what he went through, and I take my hat off to him because like it's hard coming back from anything. Injury is hard coming back from fighting what he has to fight through, and just trying to catch his body back up to speed to playing with professional athletes.
Jimmie, you got to see Nico grow as a coach. You mentioned that earlier, and being able to take criticism too. What did you see him grow as a coach in in your time in San Francisco together?
I just seen him just really, start, trusting his calls, his play calls. Sometimes he would call a certain call and won't be as aggressive, and then that next year he starts switching stuff up. Like he just start playing to his defense. If he feel like something didn't work, then he throwing it out. Just it doesn't matter. Like if we was good at it last game, good at it last week, good at it last year, he started calling plays that fit his defense.
Based on what y'all added, what for you constitutes success for y'all this season, for the team?
Say that again. Sorry.
What constitutes success for the team this year based off of what all y'all added in free agency and the draft?
Really just playing together and going out there and just first of all you got to protect the team, no off the field distractions. I feel like that's for every professional lead organization, and just secondly just believing in each other and trusting the coaching staff.
You signed here not necessarily knowing what the total team looked like. You wanted to play for Miko. You mentioned you were excited when Will Anderson was drafted. How closely were you paying attention to the draft? What was your overall thought when picks 2 and 3 or quarterback and D lineman for your team?
Well, I actually, I'm in the B&B right now, and the cable's going in and out. So I really was getting text messages. So I was looking at the text messages. People was updating me on like who we draft, and then everybody was like, "Oh man, y'all not playing in the draft." I'm like, "Golly, what's going on?" So y'all took a quarterback at 3. I said, "What? We did?" And then no, at 2. And then I was like, "Okay, all right." Then next thing you know, it's like, "Yeah, somebody we traded." I was like, "We traded somebody." And I was like, "Okay." And then they got Will Anderson. I was like, "Okay, we got it then." I was like, "All right." Then I was like, "Hold on. What did they do with that early second-round pick? Oh, we traded away?" But at the same time, hey, we got 2 studs. Like, those game changers. Like, CJ, and that's his first name, right? I don't want to mispronounce it, okay? And Will, like, man, them guys was ballers, man, when they was young. Them franchise players right there. So I think they did. Nick and Miko did an amazing job.
Nick, Jimmie, this is kind of a two-part question. When you look at a guy like C.J. Stroud, what he did in college, have you been able to see any of his film? And then also, last 2 years, you were in San Francisco, you had rookie quarterbacks kind of went over the locker room. What have you noticed about them during the early stages of training camp and during this OTA process to where they're able to get an advantage of building that relationship inside the locker room?
When I saw CJ, I saw only a few games, the big games, where I actually had time to sit there and watch a little bit. I feel like he's an amazing thrower and he has confidence, And from what I saw from Brock Purdy was he was comfortable. And they put him in the shot. Coach Kyle put him in the shotgun. He didn't really put him under the center. He kind of put him in Jimmie G offense. Jimmie G can work out of a shotgun. And he made him comfortable. And Brock Purdy never said anything. Every time I used to mess with him when we used to go to OTAs, I'm like, hey, let's play catch. And make sure you throw me the ball. So I just mess with him, and then he'd just look at me. He's like, "No, I'm not going to throw you the ball." Never say anything. Just walk past, smirk, and I just mess with him every day. I'm like, "Brock, man, what's up, man? We going to play catch today?" And he just has so much poise about himself. And one day, somebody, Jimmie got hurt. I can't remember the game, but Jimmie got hurt, and Brock going. I look up. I was like, it was like, "Brock in the game." I was like, "Brock in the game?" And next thing you know, he drive down the field and score. And then he get excited, and I was like, "Oh, sh!" And everybody was like, "Okay, I think we got something." So that's one thing about it. I just see, like, if CJ come in here and he works, I'm just saying, not everybody's like Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? If you're a talker, then talk. But just be yourself. When you come in here, just be yourself. If you talk. If you don't say anything, don't. But just work. That's it. Just grind.
You mentioned Corey also being a part of the decision in the defense that you guys ran. What is it that's asked of your position at safety, and where do you feel in your career that you're able to do that?
To be honest, to be an extra coach, obviously I know this defense. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I make mistakes. But, just to try to bring the younger guys along, try to, because I've been through a lot going on my 10th year in this league. So I really just try to explain to them, and just my experience, and tell them, this defense, you got to work as a string. Like, if somebody off on this defense, we can give up an explosive. But I kind of forgot your question, what you said about Corey Undy. I kind of took it a whole another way. But
What are you mentioned one of those things, what are your key lessons that you've learned?
Be patient. In this defense, you don't got to force plays. You know, like I said earlier, that this defense is going to get ran through the defensive front. You know, this is going to be attacking D line, and all you got to do is be in your spot, and plays will come to you.
I know it's early, but do you see any characteristics between D'Amico and Nick that you seen in your former team's GM and head coach?
You got to give me a little bit more time. It's OTAs, like, so I don't want to answer. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question for you right now. You got to give me a little bit more time, and you just come back to me on that question.
All right.
Okay.
Let me think about the 49ers influence though on this roster though. You got a lot of guys that you played with before, a couple of guys that you played with in San Francisco, and then obviously the coaching influence there. What do you think of kind of how y'all taking a piece of what y'all were doing in San Francisco and brought it here? And what about y'all success there do you think y'all can bring here? Maybe replicate?
Really, to be honest, it's just the defense. But we gotta find our own culture. You know what I'm saying? We gotta create our own identity. We're not San Fran. We're Houston. So that's who we gonna be.
You mentioned you didn't know Houston was so amazing, the food and stuff. Well, what's caught your attention as you made your way a little bit around the city that's so good?
Actually, the heat caught my attention. I've been in Cali the last 9 years, so I gotta get used to that. I've been drinking a lot of salt. But it's beautiful, man, out here. And I was raised in the South. I was raised in Alabama, so I'm kind of used to it. Born in the Midwest, so you know, and I'm close to family. So it's like I'm just used to how friendly people are. You know, in California, you know, you can be rude. It's okay to be rude. You know, people walk past you, look, don't say anything. It's like, okay, it's normal. You walk past somebody here, people turn around. Oh, I said, hey, how you doing, sir? I was like, oh, hey, my bad. Forgot. But, you know, other than that, it's just the culture, man. Just how y'all excited, how y'all smiling and stuff. Like, you know, it's something I'm not used to.
Jimmie, let's do one more. Jimmie, when you look at a guy like Derek Stingley last year, did not allow touchdown coverage despite playing limited games, do you feel like the quarterback position is one of the hardest to transition college to the NFL level? He's doing that already as a rookie. What is his upside?
Oh, man, he's good. I seen how he moves around, man, dude, and he's like 6'1", 6 feet, but he moves like he's like 5'8", 5'9". Like, dude's a stud. He's gonna be a stud, and then like his confidence is already there because when you play in an SEC, you know the level doesn't just jump up too much because a lot of guys that he locked down when he was at LSU are in the league. How many? What? Didn't they just break a record of the SEC guys that was just drafted this year or something like that? Back-to-back years? Okay, well, this guy Stingley covered majority of the top wide receivers coming out or tight ends. Like, he did this already, and that's the reason why his confidence is so high. So it's going to keep clicking for him. And the game going to slow down, and sooner or later, I'm not looking at his side. I'm finna go and steal some on the other side. Like, man, you finna catch the ball on Stingley.
Jimmie, one of the reasons I wanted you here was to mentor Petrie and Stingley. What can you do specifically to help two young guys like that?
Just really, the main thing I'm gonna do is just make sure I tell them how to take care of their body. Just because I've been through a lot of injuries, so that's my main thing. Tell them to take care of their body and just stay clear-headed. You know, things gonna happen in this league, and then just let them know that during the season it's a marathon. You know, right now it's OTAs. We building up. Don't peak too early. Peak at the right time. And that's really it.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
What's it like being reunited with Nick and kind of, you know, about the program they want to have here?
It was awesome. You know, when I found out I was coming here, just familiar faces. I've been around Nick for a majority of my career, so it's good to see him again, Frank as well.
What did you think when you heard you've been traded?
I was just, you know, happy. When I found out it was here, you know, it was kind of a happy feeling knowing that I would, you know, be here. Then I knew the system they were going to be running, new coach with a lot of energy. I think it was a perfect fit for me.
What sort of adjustment building that relationship?
Really, I mean, just building continuity, man. Taking it day by day. Everybody out there grinding, just trying to put our best foot forward. And, no matter who, we're playing beside, whoever the five are, I know that we're all, going to be on the same page.
Shaq, what can you do? Last year, Kenyon Green was a #1 pick, and he struggled at times. What can you do to advise him going into his second season?
I would say mainly, Ken, he picks my brain a lot. So, we've been talking. He asked me things, here and there. And, I know the one thing I know he cares. So, that's a big thing coming from a guy that young. He cares a lot about his craft. He cares a lot about studying. He doesn't want to mess anything up. So, that's a lot coming from a young guy.
Working with Chris Strauss, your offensive line coach now, what is your familiarity with him and what he's asking of you? This system's different from him as well, so, we're all buying in and trying to put our best foot forward. Cole's in the room too, who was my O-line coach in New England as well. So, we're all just buying in and trying to, pick it up as quick as possible and put our best foot forward. How different is it from what you played in New England? Obviously 7 years there, then in Tampa.
It should be a lot more fun, honestly. Get to go run a little more, just sprint off the ball. Should be a lot of fun.
Y'all drafted C.J. Stroud, obviously, last week. Obviously, they traded a while ago. How much, kind of in your mind, does that change the trajectory of what this offense will look like with C.J. Stroud not being on the team?
I think, we can do great things. Like I said, it's new. It's new to everybody, and we just got to buy in and put our best foot forward. And, everybody's building right now, not just us, every other team. All 32, we building, and, it's a mountaintop, so we just climbing.
You mentioned that it'd be a lot more fun. Can you expand on why you think that?
So I view myself as a, athletic guard, so just getting out, running a lot more, just those type of things.
Shaq doesn't want to run the ball a lot because it's the quarterback's best friend. What are your impressions so far, Damian Pierce and Devin Secretary?
Great guys. I'm lucky to block for them, honestly. I see what both of them can do with the ball in their hands, and, they're both special players, and, I'm looking forward to blocking for them.
So you had a lot of involvement in the community in other cities. What are some things you want to do here?
Just kind of, get out there, help the community as much as I can. I do a lot of charity work with, my foundation and, cities I play in. So that's pretty huge to me, just giving back. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to doing that in Houston as well.
Shaq, you've talked about the origin of your name from your mom, like Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon. Does it mean anything different now that you're in Houston?
A little bit. I think as soon as I landed here, it was a Texans fan, and it was like, your middle name is Olajuwon, and now you're in Houston. And it never really dawned on me until somebody said it to me. But it's pretty cool.
In regards to the amount of talent that the Texans have brought in this offseason, including you, how much better do you think this team can be going into 2023 compared to how they did in the past couple years?
I think, the sky's the limit, man. I can't put no cap on it, but I know that with the guys we got in the locker room and what we're trying to build, it's going to be a very successful team. I've been a part of, successful teams in the past, and I know we had a recipe.
Have you got a chance to talk to Damian Pierce yet, and what does it mean to block for a runner, at such a young age and so early in the NFL that runs that hard?
Yeah, I've had a few conversations with him. It's going to be fun. Just to honestly, I saw, I think it was the Chargers. I think I watched the Chargers game maybe, and I'm like, who is this? Who is this kid? And then as the season progressed, he had better games, and he took off. So, it's a blessing, to block for him, and I know he runs hard, and he's, going to make every defense, feel it as he opposes will. So, hey, that's all you can ask for as an O-lineman.
Shaq, as a veteran, what do you think you can do to help a rookie quarterback like C.J. Stroud?
Really, just protect him. That's the biggest thing I can do is protect him and rookie quarterbacks, it's always a learning curve, but I think he'll be fine. Us five up front, we're gonna do our job and try to make his job as easy as possible.
What do you think, you have very tons of other tackles, guys, our guys, off the team, where do you think you guys' offensive line stats across the league?
I think we can definitely be one of the best lines in the league, for sure.
Shaq, you've done this for a long time at a high level. I was asking Jimmie about John Mechie coming back from his leukemia treatments. What do you think about that kind of level of commitment to get back on the field with you guys at OTAs? And I was asking him, is that kind of an inspirational figure for you?
Absolutely, man. That just shows, how tough the kid is, resolve, to be out there, and you look out there and you see him and he's a dynamic player, and just know what he fought through to get back out there. I mean, it lifts everybody seeing him out there, honestly.
You have the experience next to the young guys, and you've proven yourself on the field. I mean, they traded for you. You've got a year left. What is on your contract here? I mean, what is the expectation for you here, and how you've talked about that, and how do you evaluate the basis with your future in that sense?
Really, man, I play ball, man. I let I let everybody else handle those type of things. I mean, love to be here, so that's one thing, but I just, I'm here to ball, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Shaq, your last year in New England was the year they drafted Mac Jones and played that year. Do you recall anything over the course of the year that you did to help that situation work, or anything Mac did to help the dynamic work?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, he was a rookie that year, and one thing I can take from that is, and pass along to CJ as well, but rookie Qs have to put in a little more than everybody else on the team, and that's just kind of how that worked out. And Mac had a good amount of success his rookie year, and I think CJ will have a good amount of success, and I know he's willing to put the time and effort in. So.
Shaq, I read that you have an AAU team. How did that love of basketball, you mentioned how did that love of basketball develop?
So really, I tell a lot of people I'm a hooper that plays football. So I love basketball, man. But I'm short, so that dream faded. So that dream faded. But as far as like my AAU program, it's me and a lot of guys from my community and hometown. We kind of put together a team, and my program is 6th to 11th grade. A lot of guys from the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we go to all these exposure tournaments, and it's a pretty big program, so proud of it.
Do you feel like there is a Shaq, when you look at a guy like Mac Dunaway, who in his development, he was in New England with you. You have two young offensive linemen on top of Kenyon Green and Juice Scruggs and Jared Patterson. What are some nuances and niches that they have to develop very early on to not just earn reps, but just to guarantee that if their name is called upon, they can't hold their own?
Got to be a sponge. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing for young guys, especially O-linemen. You got to be a sponge. And, we got guys in the room that, can lay the foundation. And, like I said, they just got to soak up the game and, just go out there and add little tools and techniques to their own.
Do you think there is an advantage to having a former NFL player as a head coach?
Absolutely. I think so. And the fact that, a guy that has played the game and, been through that definitely means a lot to the players in the locker room. So I think it definitely means something to us.
I know you've only been here a little while, but how well did you get to know Nick in New England, and from your time here, understanding what kind of team he wants to build?
I know, I got to know Nick pretty well from my time in New England, and I know, above all, I know Nick wants to win, and that's what we're all here for, whether it's, whoever's on the 53 practice squad, whatever, everybody wants to win. And when you have a GM that has that mentality, and you can see from the type of moves he's making, that excites the team. And that's why, it's a little extra juice around here, just knowing that we got the ability to do some special things.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Get that first shot at the Rockets game.